It's I'm knackered. I've forgotten what the hell day it is. I can't get to sleep. It's should be quite early. It's this is 10 minutes past, by the way. 9 o'clock. It's thing. January, Saturday, Sunday I mean. Huh. Well, I thought it was Saturday. O'clock, like I said. Various things on my mind. I'm feeling about these lights on Sunday early is just horseshit as well. Back. See, I think this is all overheard. Me getting up and going back and forth and being gently up. So let's do what I was going to do in any case. Maybe I'll just be some day early. Yeah, of course it's some day early. Where the fuck would you think it's? Well, we'll soon find out, eh? Certainly done often enough. I mean, the bike's been there. Stodgy neighbours is there. Yeah, rubbish. There you go. So you see, for example, I would be coming down the stairs now. It's taking me a minute or whatever to get down the stairs, and you get to walk by on an otherwise empty street. Guy just appears quiet Sunday morning. And the car comes at the same time, the headlights on, red. I'm gonna have somebody in red and black here. Makes an appearance, got a car up there, appears for the corner. Then you get your customary dog walker, and just the tonic red and black. What else we got? Another car, same car. You get the picture, that's what that's for. That's the cough at the same time as you can parallel, of course. A contemptuous little slam. The cough is for when we just been here, of course, and or if I did just happen to be coming out when she's there. So there you go. Boom. Cause and effect. Simple cause and effect. With Archons. Your gung-ho minion stalkers. Boy, they're keen, aren't they? Right on the ball, aren't they? Sudden appearance just right when I do the door there as usual, and coughs when she gets directly opposite, which she could have done at any point on the street. I'd have heard it this time. It's quite quiet. The sound's going to carry. Same idiot mediocre tricks. Same gaslighting crap as always. Should have told me. So there you go. I didn't want to spend much time on this, so just wonder if we'll get another surprise one coming in. Surprise appearance, you know, backup. As I'm hearing something. As you tend to do sometimes. Where is it? Got another dog, look. As soon as she sort of vanishes off the scene, you get somebody else to cover the road. Constant line of sight shout. They're all excited now, aren't they? They're all there. Top. Right. Somebody was actually there. Just went through that door. And the camera probably missed him. Actually, we'll catch this bloke from the other side. Quick look, see who he is. Not that I know who he is, but we'll we'll have him on camera for when does it the next time. Smoking as well. Or is that his breath? No, he's putting his hand to his mouth, he's smoking. I'll see it be smokers, don't they? Not them all, but I just don't like smoking. My mother smoked all her life, you know. 60 a day or whatever, it basically killed her. I wonder if we can up here at the same time this bloke gets to the top. Approximately. Less it's not so likely on quiet Sunday morning as it is on at other times, other days. You certainly get the picture. Sinking is pretty obvious, isn't it? I don't know if it's you know, simply because they just stop bothering to even try and disguise it. So obviously they are trying to disguise it. I mean, it's people basically supposedly going about their business, you know, which just happens to be invariably at the same time as you think the target's coming out, yeah, the target's going to make an appearance. Yeah, as I say, you know, you kind of wonder if they've just stopped trying, in a sense. So they're obviously trying very hard, but I mean, and of course it was going to, if they're going to make an impact, they've got to do it, you know, and that's what the camera is for, to demonstrate that. We have a flashy at the top there. So that's somebody running by at the same time. Fucking wild psyops on already, you know. Unbelievable. Oh. Well, I might partly explain it. I've heard his door open downstairs, I didn't hear it. And the car's gone, flashing, the car's lights have gone. It's in the top. So it's kind of as you'd expect for a Sunday, wouldn't it? Yeah, isn't it? Isn't it? You know, pretty much as everybody else sees it. But you see what happens when I do my door thing. So obviously anybody that says that this stalking, gang stalking, quote unquote, is you know, delusion, schizophrenia. I mean, that's actually just more gaslighting. It's perfectly obvious. It's timed. It's basically a very simple scam. They make it complex, but it's basically very simple. They just stalk a target complains about it, and if they're dumb enough to complain about it, or film it, or whatever, and psychiatrists, cops, everybody else, judicial system, they're all in the scam as well, and nobody knows what you're talking about. Even while they're in the process of setting you up through it, especially while in the process. It's based on a simple premise. What are the chances that you, one person, single person, seeing this, single witness, is suffer from delusion, or you know, tens, possibly 100 people stalking you, is against the possibility that tens or possibly hundreds of people is stalking you is actually happening. You know, which is the most likely? So that's a scam. That's what it's based on. It's based on the bigger the lie, the more chances are at working. Bigger the lie, the better chance of getting away with it. Whatever. However Hitler put it in Mein Kampf, but that's a psychology behind it. I thought it was Goebbels, and somebody said it's actually Goebbels that said it, but Goebbels must have been quoting Mein Kampf, because apparently Hitler said it in Mein Kampf, so that's confusing enough in itself. So that's a basic scam. Gaslighting scam is what it is. And the fact that targets are reporting this all over the world, this is a global thing now. It's the new war, the so-called war against terrorism is now on the streets now. Micro-targeting, micro-gaslighting, if you like. And this is happening in all NATO countries, as Mark Rich put it a while back in The Hidden Evil. And this isn't horseshit. It's like psychiatrists were saying years ago, have been saying, but targets, but just picking up these other so-called TI websites, targeted individuals, are actually feeding the delusions of other people, basically unbalanced people, and all this horseshit. It may well be this case in some cases, and of course the whole thing is designed to disorientate a person, the target's perception of everyday events and reality anyway. It's to create a false reality, in the Husserlian sense, if you like, to actually distort a person's life world, the sense of their life world, their everyday life, everyday perceptions, everyday experience. So it might actually infect the outlook, because people can, I think people can be very. I mean, they're a cult themselves. People are very easily influenced. I was going to say, and you see how easily people are caught up in this idea or that idea, and this is a plague. This is a plague of murder. But you see how and of course, people in cults, they have to be, well, they are brainwashed, and they have to be, anti-brainwashed. Whatever it's called again. I've read de-brainwashed, or I've forgotten what it's called. Well, I'm knackered. And these people, this is a cult as well. This is basically a global cult, a cult of artificial synchronicity, if you like. Basically a cult of narcissism and sociopathy, or whatever you want to call it. But it's clearly, it's basically a psychopathic system. But there's never any shortage of takers. It obviously adds an added dimension, a spice to the life. Nothing more exciting than being made to feel important, and you're doing your bit for the country and the world. And talk about deluded. There's never any shortage of sneaky aggressors. I mean, as we all know, or should know, it's a passive aggressive society, and sneaky aggression, indirect aggression. It's just endemic. It's always been endemic. The narcissists, the mediocrities have always been like this. I mean, this is nothing new. All they've done is got organised. It's been legitimised. There's never going to be any shortage of these people until it eventually dies out. People slowly come and see the light. But people are always looking for ways to. It's virtually revenge, for their own lives, their own past. They're actually projecting their past on you, and it's like it's a dissatisfaction of their own lives, and and the lack of talent or this or that. The fact, they're the ones on reality TV now. They can, they're not famous. Now they can get that. Now they can. Now they got their own reality TV without being famous. That must be the frustrating part from it. Part of it. For them, the fact that it has to be anonymous, it has to be covert, and they're not actually known for it except between themselves, sort of thing, and the handlers, the instigators, and so this turns the tables a little bit, doesn't it? This gives them a little bit of fame, doesn't it? If you like, certainly attention. You can bring So now we're talking about live reality TV, and if you like, in the streets, and this supposed Truman Show delusion that people talk about a person being the centre of a TV show, and I don't think it's a TV show. So what with the constant CCTV and surveillance and all the rest of it, and all the various forms, it may as well be. I mean, what's the difference? Yeah. So they're doing their own, unreality TV, if you like, trying to, affect it, the targets, distort the perception of everyday events, as I've said, and now they could be on TV in a sense, doing it, showing how they do it, demonstrating how they do it, how it's done, what they're actually trying to achieve, disorientation and psychological disorientation and deterioration and destabilization, call it what you like. What's the word I'm looking for? Discouragement overall. Just wear the person down, just wear them out. Affect them every aspect of your life that you can. Just thinking about them coming in and nicking my paintings, It's been going on for a while. How are you supposed to get it together? And obviously that's going to be a constant attempt to demoralise when you're doing it, when somebody's going to be coming in and nick your paintings. Put my head out the window the other day when I heard next door neighbour come out, and just to see what would happen, what's shaking. A locksmith van went by, and had another locksmith van that day, just the other day as well, one or two again. Synchronous stuff. Just time for the corner and stuff. That kind of thing. This may well be them giving me the message that this is them saying we can get in any time. We're going to get in any time. Hearing you talking about paintings to your buddy, your next door neighbour there, and your plans for getting more paintings together, and how you're going to sell them and get it together, and get the hell now out of the rest of it. We'll soon put a stop to that. We'll keep you stuck here in the matrix. Basically the message, and you can see how on the ball they are for to get the sense of oppression across. That's what it is. It's all about oppression, isn't it? It's oppress. Be there, be in his face all the time. Get him down, bring him down, literally. We're taking this guy down. He's exposed us. He's continued to expose us. All we can do is increase it, and bit of a vicious circle then, but something's got to give eventually. So we just keep at it, increase it. Just keep in his face, harder and harder. Hammer him, and just hammer him, and it'll work eventually. It's beyond the point of worrying about it. The fact that he's exposed it all now. He's put these hundreds of videos up on YouTube now. If they're even aware of it, some of them must be. They must be doing it for some reason, unless they think I'm bluffing with the camera. And so they're hardly going to decrease it. They don't give up. They could only increase it, and which in another sense, of course, is exactly what I want. That's another thing that occurred to me. The sheer idiocy of this, their tactics. The thing that is actually, it's so obvious. It's so obvious. It'd be obvious to a kid. Apart from the fact they get kids to do it as well, and get their kids to join in as well. Clear negative suggestion. Guilt by insinuation, whatever, blah blah blah. But the fact that it's so blatantly obvious, it's like insulting to. It would be insulting to a moron's intelligence. If you see what I mean, you really wonder about the logic behind this, or their bloody sanity, common sense, or whatever. But you know, this is what they do, and they keep on doing it. And of course, if you point it out, you know, if you make it work, or you can be funny about it, you know, if you want, or make some smart ass remark, and you might get some quizzical look back, or query, or comment, or you know, all just different forms of gaslighting. But basically, they'll keep up the pretense. You know, I think that's clearly designed to wind you up as well. The whole thing is just a wind up. So any response, that's just you know, it's narcissistic. It's to hook you in. These are just more hooks, little hooks to hook you in, and you get you frustrated. You know, at this attack, if you like, you know, on your perception of what is, you know, reality, everyday events, what is clearly nonsense, but they'll deny it, you know, to your face, like a kid that's been caught in an obvious lie and just won't admit it, sort of thing. Yeah. Where was I going with this? Yeah, I was also thinking that but the ridiculous aspect is the fact that it is filmed. That I am filming it. That isn't the ridiculous thing itself. The ridiculous thing is that I think because they're doing it separately. Obviously, it has to be separate. The ego is separate. It's an ego thing. It's an ego. It's all based on bodies, and it's an ego strategy. It's about keeping the ego alive and together as well, you know, whatever. The illusion of joining, yeah. Yeah, the very fact that you know, that it's arranged, just not just the synchronous stuff, you know, the artificial synchronicities, but the fact that it's one after the other is actually arranged along the target's route, my route. And I'm sure other people will experience it as well, depending on the level intensity, and it's got increasingly intense for me now for one reason or another, as these videos are demonstrating, you know, as my experience is demonstrating, is pretty clear. You know, I just think another aspect of this, you know, this stupidity aspect, this nonsensical aspect, the ludicrous obvious, you know, of it, the pointlessness, and assuming that you know, that this is somehow still hidden, or people, you know, or people won't see this. I think to me it's partly based on the fact that maybe they're just not that bright. Some of them, you know, they're just overconfident. I just, you know, just carried away with themselves. They just enjoy themselves too much, or, you know, this or that, or I think it's just the whole negative suggestion, guilt by association, you know, is enough. The whole projection thing, and you know, that's damning enough for the target anyway. I mean, you know, why would this be happening? And you know, this is going to scare anybody off. So you're really just defaming yourself, as somebody said, you know, bringing it on yourself further. You know, to actually come out into the open with this, and you know, and anyway, but without getting into that, all that for the moment. The fact that just the logistics of it, the fact that they're not seeing it from the target's point of view, the camera's point of view, as much as the camera can pick up. I'll pick up stuff that I miss. Also misses stuff that I noticed, but you know, a simple turn of the head, or this and that, and at any point, at any time, either side, the camera might miss. It doesn't pick up, you know. Or that it would if it was camera glasses. I mean Google Glass. It seems like another form of surveillance, but I just mean you know, a good pair of camera specs, camera glasses. But I'd be seen to buy these. It's too late now, you know. Then again, what the hell difference does it make? I mean, I bought this, and they know what I'm doing. They're there to sort of monitor everything, catch everything. You know, they see me buying this, and they must surely know that I am actually filming. I'm not bluffing. But yeah, just the fact that they don't see it as a whole. Yeah, the fact that you know, they're separate themselves. They're working together, but it's based on separation. The whole thing is about a separation mindset. That's what a fragmented narcissistic mindset. The illusion of joining. The fact that it seems to be to make up a whole, but it's really just fragmented, disparate parts. This is what I mean. This is what I'm talking about with that over intellectualizing about this, and they don't. It doesn't really occur to them how this looks as a whole, and not even just individual videos, which I'll do for like 20 minutes, half an hour, even 2 hours at a time. But I mean hundreds of videos, and that's mine alone. But anyway, I'm talking about me, my videos. It's me that's experiencing it, and the fact that they just don't, haven't seen it from the target's point of view. Well, that's pretty obvious, isn't it? It's all based on bloody projection. They don't say anything from the target's bloody point of view. Like a psychological pun there, unintentionally, but you know what I mean. And it just doesn't occur to them that even in the space of a single video, how obvious it is. Not just how obvious it looks, but how obvious it is. When I'm filming one person after another doing this synchronistic horseshit, and it's like because they're doing it individually, they're all working together but separate. They think that this is some sort of incredibly brilliant con that nobody's going to pick up on. Nobody's going to pick up on this. Nobody's going to believe this guy. It's just individual instances. He's going to get mixed up. It's all about psyops and confusion, his perception of events and people, and he's going to pick on the wrong person. He's going to lose it with the wrong person. He's going to, hassle the wrong person, cheek the wrong person, whatever. No, intentionally put women and kids in front of you and stuff. People they see as vulnerable and whatever. To anybody that that the target might interpret as the last straw, or I don't know, just whatever. I mean, this is how much they care about other people. This is insanity as well. The situation I've mentioned before, the fact that the whole thing is geared to breaking down a target psychologically, emotionally, ruining, completely disorientating their perception of everyday events, getting in a complete state of tiredness, depression, blah blah blah, demoralisation, this and that, blah blah blah. Then what do? They'll put some silly bent on a bike or whatever in front of the target. They'll put a kid on a bike in front of the target, or running into corners, or all looking to make the target snap. And yet they supposedly able to protect the people that they bring into this conspiracy, this covert plague of murder. So they're trying to murder the targets, covertly or through distraction, trying to get them involved in traffic accidents. That's no cliche as well. That isn't all this stuff, all this psyops, all this distraction, minor, major, and all the rest. In the bikes and all the rest. That coincides with the road build up at the roads as well. The busier the roads are, junctions and all the rest of it, especially at peak time and all the rest of it, the places are wash for bikes and these people to literally distract you so that you'll walk into traffic, that you're just not watch where you're bloody going, because you're constantly distracted with stuff. So you have the paradox, the lunacy of them getting the message across to the target that they are trying. There's nothing funny about this. They might, get this or that person laughing or smiling or behaving as though it's light and this, and this and that. But behind it, overall, as a whole, it's about murder. It's about destroying a person. It's about killing the target, soft kill, quote unquote. But that's what it is. So the target is to be aware of this, because if they're not aware of it, they're not going to be freaked out. They're not going to be demoralised and disorientated and this and all the rest. It's obviously they've got to get that message across at the same time as they're putting vulnerable people in front of the target, well aware that this is all part of the process of trying to kill them, murder them, and completely ignoring the fact how dangerous this could be for some of these people that they put in front of the target when the target knows exactly what's going on, what the purpose is behind it. I mean, if somebody's going to try and murder you, might you not actually retaliate and try and murder them back, if you like? Yeah. I mean, if you're going to lose it, you might as well just lose it big time. If they're trying to drive it to suicide, complete demoralisation, ultimately suicide, self-harm, suicide, then I mean, suicide's just murder and suicide are just different sides of the same coin. Some people just take the view, well, if I'm going, you're going as well. I'm going to take as many people as I can, and this is clearly what happens. This is what's happened with some of these people, the supposed crazies and actual crazies and whatever, and shooting people up, and whether it's kids being picked on or this is what's been going on. Partly what's been going on, apart from the drugs they might have got as well, the medication and various things to cope with this. It just becomes part of the crazy making, the psychological disorientation as well, because nothing changes. Put a person on medication, for filling full of their drugs, for well, obviously partly as much to keep the pharmaceutical industry in business, doctors in business with their perks and all the rest of it, but also the fact that it doesn't make any difference. Treat them for their delusions, their schizophrenia, or their paranoid delusions or whatever, and the stuff just keeps right on happening. But they'll be told, well, that's just part of your delusion. It'll wear off. The drugs will eventually help, but of course it's just part of it's just further crazy making. It's just part of the process of psychological disorientation and intentional disintegration, trying to destroy a person. So you've always got to be pretty clear in your mind as to what's going on, and as I've always said, for this to work, the target has to actually see it. The target has to be aware that there's something sinister, something creepy going on, something lethal, psychologically, emotionally lethal. My view is if I can see it as I'm supposed to, then the camera can pick it up as well. Another thing I think is that they're stuck in this repeating loop. As I've said, I mean, to me, the situation is the strategies are ludicrous. The obviousness of it is ludicrous. Any notion of saying that this is delusion or paranoid delusion is ludicrous. But they're the ones that are stuck in the psychological matrix, if you like. As somebody wrote about narcissistic personality disorder, and I just think they're all just a spectrum of the same thing anyway, whether it's narcissism or borderline or psychopathy. It's all just different names for the same thing. You're basically just talking about different degrees. I think. From the mildest passive, sneaky aggression, if you like, to out and out, vindictive psychopathy. I mean, there basically comes to be no difference, with this lot. They run the gamut, the whole spectrum, to my mind, and that's what I'm saying. Apart from the fact that the target is quite small fry, so then it's not like they're getting some mercenary out to kill the fucking target. It's all part of psychological experiments anyway. But where was I going with this? Because I'm really tired. I've got to go to bed again. I'm still knackered. I was thinking about other things. Yeah, so there's a psychologist. It's writer wrote about narcissism, saying that they seem to be. It's like they're stuck within the thrall of the ego. You know, they can't see outside the parameters of the ego self. They're locked in the ego. You know, they're the ego, and the ego is them, kind of thing. Yeah. So I think that makes them, to my mind, I mean, not just to my mind, but yeah, that makes them severely psychologically restricted in their outlook. They're certainly emotionally stunted. I think that's part of the emotional spectrum, if you like, the psychological spectrum. Other people, it's obvious, other people have remarked on this. The Mark Rich and the New War, it just puts their age, their emotional age is around about 12. And to my mind, it's a pretty bratty, 12 as well. First I remember living at 12, I was fucking Christ, I wasn't like this. It wasn't like that when I was 7 or 8. I knew kids like that, like this though. You knew what mediocrity was. You knew what sneaky aggression was, to an extent. They've just never grown up. It's complex, it's intellectually complex, it's clever, but my mother was clever, and she was emotionally retarded, She was sharp as a razor. As was my grandmother. They were emotionally, they're like fucking 10-year-old kids as well. When she cut through the crap, So, they make mistakes. They're just not as smart as they think they are. They're not smart. It's nothing to do with smartness or wisdom or true intelligence, real intelligence. They make mistakes. It's all about ganging up on you and getting you to make mistakes, so that you really fuck things up, Really screw things up for yourself. Even if that's just walking into a moving vehicle. Constant distraction and all the rest of it. But they can't see outside, the parameters, the parameters, psychological parameters of this repeating loop that they're stuck in. Which is why, to me, on the one hand, the whole thing is just ludicrous. It's obvious what they're doing. It's supposed to be obvious in another sense, But they think because they're no matter how many are wearing red and black, or suddenly appear with dogs, or in bags, or there at corners virtually every time, they think they're like, because they're invisible to everybody else. It doesn't actually matter whether they're invisible or not to the target. In fact, they're supposed to not be invisible. And that's idiocy of the situation, because this is what the camera picks up. It's as simple as that. This is what I'm pointing out. They just they're like an autistic kid or something. They just can't seem to sort of. I mean, it's all about projection. What the things that they refuse to see in themselves onto targets. That's the excuse. That's the pretext. But it's like autism in the sense, in a wider sense. They try to control the whole world. But it's like an autistic kid in the sense that they can't actually. project their mind in another sense, to actually, see it from the target's point of view. They don't put two and two together. It never seems to occur to them that just because it's invisible to everybody else in the street and not to the target as intended, it doesn't mean it doesn't follow that when the target captures it on camera. All the individual instances in the pattern overall, which will become obvious within a single video, even in my case. It doesn't mean when people see the film and see it from the target's point of view, it will still be invisible. You see what I mean? See the obviousness of what I'm saying. Alright, I'll do that. I'm actually too tired for this. I'm not feeling very coherent, but that's a pretty obvious example, I think. I suppose from their point of view, well, they think, well, it doesn't actually make any difference. Nobody's going to do anything about it. It's all divided out between us. We've got the backing whoever, blah blah blah, local government, cops, this, fucking council, everybody. There's more us. There's more than you. The judiciary, the legal system, quote unquote legal system, prisoner service. Just everybody. Everybody can think of it as now complicit in this. This is now a global plague, and so it doesn't actually bloody matter whether people can see it or not. And there must be a reason for it anywhere. We think there's a reason, or we think it's justified, or they'll never be justified. But we back each other up. We agree between us. We simply feed each other's biases and distortions and projections, and if we've ever got any doubts individually, well, there's always the rest will they just back each other up. It's an okay thing to do. The fact that people behave in different as mobs as they might do individually, and so again, what was is complete insanity to the target individual. Completely obvious. To them is the epitome of common sense. Whatever you feel like. Or as one of them said once, he thinks it's admirable what they're doing. So obviously it's completely. I don't know what phrase to use. Completely opposite interpretations, diametrically opposed interpretations. A completely different psychological orientation. That's what I mean. From each other. I mean, if the shoe was on the other foot and I was asked to join in, I'd never join in to this shit. I think they know that. I think they can tell who will never be corrupted, who will never. It's like a different species psychologically. I think they know that. But it's all circular, Someone sets it off, and before you know it, you're making stupid mistakes anyway, because that's what they want. And, they just exacerbate everything, exaggerate everything, and just whatever. Spread shit between themselves, and because it's what gossips and the guilty-minded do, and it just goes around and around, and you know, just one thing leads to another. You retaliate in one form or another. It just gets worse, and it's obvious. It's a madhouse. It's obviously, it actually is a recipe. You know, they're insane, and it's a recipe for insanity. But I think the repeat and loop aspect is the most central. The fact that to the target, to what is perfectly obvious to the target, is the least obvious thing to them. And this is what the target picks up, regardless how people think it might come about, or the reasons for it, or so-called justification or otherwise. The fact is, it's quite easily demonstrated, showing what's going on. So that's what I've been doing. They're idiots. I'll never be justified. They just show themselves to be fools. Your proverbial useful idiots. All sound and fury, signifying zilch. Right, I gotta stop.